I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Welcome to the RBC Dominion Securities Western Canadian Showdown. We are very proud to sponsor this event for our community and surrounding area. We wish everyone good curling and best of luck.
And a very warm welcome to Swift Current, Saskatchewan. It's the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. I'm Hans Frauenlob. I'm joined by Dave Schmel in our feature game today. Kevin Cailey taking on Team Laycock. How you doing, Dave?
I am fantastic, Hans. Coming off of a great day at curling thus far and looking forward to seeing some more.
Just Kevin Cailey's on the ice. It's usually a recipe for some fun.
Absolutely. Had the opportunity to call one of Cailey's games earlier and just had a great game between Laws and Fujisawa. So there's been no shortage of great action here at Swift Current.
Team Cailey playing the Red Stones. Team Laycock playing the Yellow Stones. Team Laycock with Last Rock here in end number 1. Even though it is Team Laycock, Steve Laycock not playing with the team this weekend. And Dave, he's juggling mixed doubles qualification as well as men's play. So busy man, Steve.
Absolutely. He was not with the team either last week and was out at the qualifiers. Don't know exactly how he finished here, but it has been Sean Meacham doing a very able job at the skip position, throwing a lot of good shots.
Canada, of course, changing their qualification system for their Olympic representative for mixed doubles curling. So they've got their Olympic trials effectively coming up in relatively short order, which will give the selected team the better part of a year to think about themselves as Canada's representatives at the Milan Cortina Olympic mixed doubles tournament.
No, and I think that's an important change that they're making because the time frame with some of these teams and a lot of the players being involved in four-person curling as well has really, it served to not give enough time for the teams to gel and really get enough experience against other competition as Team Canada, as their national representatives. So this should allow for them to put up a bit of a stronger effort.
Trying to dig this one out around a center guard. Well held. Lovely control weight there. Chris Heikert almost gets it to nose. Nice shot.
Now we have Team Cailey, and they did play earlier today, losing a tight one to John Epping. That game going all the way to an extra end.
8, the final in that one. That was a ding-dong battle, to be sure.
It certainly was. There was teams were throwing the punches. Like I said, Hans, it's been a big day of curling with lots of action.
Playing conditions excellent in Swift Current. We've seen some great shot making. Teams exchanging pretty nice downweight come around hits around this center guard. One more attempt at the dig.
Great sweep there by the mystery lead.
That's right.
And last week it was Austin Krupski. This does not look like Austin Krupski.
Okay. So we've got folks out there on the feed that can give us certainty around who is playing lead for what we were going to call for the rest of this game. Well, we'll still call them Team Laycock because that's what's showing on the graphic, but it is Sean Meacham. Skipping and throwing the final stones today.
Yes, I don't remember Mr. Krupski having glasses, and our mystery lead has glasses.
Okay, well, help us sleuth it out, folks. If you're watching on the feed, drop us a comment, fill us in. We don't want to get it wrong, you know, we'd rather get it right if we can.
I mean, Mom and Dad might be watching, and Grandma and Grandpa.
No, totally. Nice to have the corn broom slider. There's a clue.
And there's already one mystery. He's actually our mystery second.
There you go. So it's not only the name, but the playing position we got to sort out here. We'll get it right, folks. We'll get our crack team of researchers on this one and narrow it down. Bit cool out there. Don't often see the hoodie, Kevin, but gotta stay warm.
I think it is a little bit cold in the ice shed. He had the poofy bubble coat on for a good part of the draw earlier.
This one, bit snug. You're gonna get it by that guard. Oh, just great brush. You know, delicate little flop, lovely.
And there we go. It is Jacques Gauthier.
Aha!
It is. Yes, it is.
It is indeed. All right.
Yes, it's a lot easier now that we see. Now that we know that.
There
of
we
course
go.
Of course it's Jacques.
All right. It takes a village. Hey, we sort it out.
Of course it's Gauthier. What were you thinking, Hans?
Oh,
we had the whole time.
Exactly. Well, Jacques, one of those players, I mean, it has been a bit of a carousel this year, to be fair, in terms of player changes.
Oh, yes, it is. And there's a good picture of him, thanks to our camera squad.
Oh, tremendous. Well, making that kind of shot will put a smile on your face. That thing was fully buried, but look at that. Picked it out, hung around. Nice shooting.
Absolutely beautiful.
So yeah, for Team Steve Laycock, when you can wheel a Jacques Gauthier into the lineup, that's pretty good going.
Not a bad sub.
No, absolutely. First look, Kevin Cooey in this game, delivering stones. Impossible to mistake the characteristic takeaway of Kevin Cooey.
With the micro lift on the downweight shot.
Micro lift, exactly. Kevin Cooey and David Netowin, really? Two of the micro lifters in this sport. Nice shot. Playing away from that center guard now.
And to the comment, Keith, as far as we know, this is just a sub spot for Gauthier. I haven't heard anything official, or else we would have had it to begin with.
Well, it's been that kind of season, Dave, hasn't it? Because it's like,
you never know.
And weekend to weekend, right? Who's made a change? You know, after much consideration, we decide that we're going to announce something, and all of a sudden we've got a new lineup on the ice. And a very interesting season.
Absolutely. And well, help us if we have an opinion on such a thing either, or express it, lest we fall victim to the chat.
Well, it's just a symptom of our sport, isn't it? I think, it's gone through life cycles before, way back in dinosaur days before curling was in the Olympics. You kind of reevaluated every year really what your lineup was going to be, and over the summer you figured it out and you put a team together, and then the Olympics came along, and then the strongest teams were starting to think in 4-year cycles instead of 1-year cycles. Okay, we're going to put a team together with the intention of getting to the Olympics. And now the Olympics has been a thing for a period of time, and points qualification systems kind of get you in contention for national and Olympics considerations. The cycle changes, and this season we have seen a flurry of mid-season lineup adjustments, and everybody's just trying to get better, Dave.
And the sport is better for it, for sure. And not even mid-season lineup changes, mid-season rule changes. As
that's true.
We have this blank end coming up, and the next Grand Slam, that's going to be a thing too.
Yes, it will. So for those who haven't been following closely, it was recently announced that in the next Grand Slam, not in this competition, but in the next Grand Slam event, Final Stone. We'll pick this up in the second and pick it up because it merits a bit more discussion. Final Stone here from Meacham, trying to blank, makes it hit, spills away, and it will be a blank end. So nothing on the board after one end of play here in Swift Current.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
In Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind. From pre-seed to post-harvest, you can count on the Victory Canola program to keep
Welcome back. We are in Swift Current. Second end action underway. First end blanked. And Hans Frauenlob here with Dave Schmel. And just as we wrapped up the first end, David pointed out in recent news that the next Grand Slam event, we're going to have a bit of a rule change. So let's pick up on that, Dave. Speaking of blank ends.
So yeah, essentially in an effort to, this all came up when a game involving, I believe, was it Cooey McEwen started with 3 straight blank ends and said, well, this isn't really as entertaining as they want. And you had that huge crowd out in St. John's. And after 3 blank ends, it kind of fell silent. So they said, well, that's not good. So how do we do something about that? So the rule's going to be that after you blank an end, if you blank a second end, you're going to lose the hammer. So essentially, you're going to be forced to take one. That's definitely going to give some wrinkles.
Yeah, there's no doubt. So again, we'll just underscore that rule is not in effect here at this competition, but it would be the next Grand Slam event where they're going to try this rule variation out. I've seen Curling Canada Chief Executive Nolan Thiessen comment on it, saying he's excited to see these things tried out. And, I think I would go along with Nolan on that one. The only way that you actually can assess the impact of a new idea is actually putting it on the ice and seeing what happens, because it's all theory until it actually goes onto the ice and the best athletes in the world adjust their games and their strategies to the rule changes. We saw it happen with free guard zone. We've seen it happen with no tick. We've seen it in mixed doubles with power play. So every time there's a rule adjustment, the athletes adjust back. And how's it going to go with a consecutive blank end rule giving up hammer? Well, we're just going to wait and see, but it will be interesting.
Yeah, and Hans, you make a very good point about it being with the best athletes. It's important to do this type of experiment at an event like a slam, where you have the teams there that can actually plan it out, make a strategy for it, and then execute it. So you end up finding out what those consequences of that rule are right away. And what I see coming from it is a shift to blanks being played as a defensive strategy for the team to get the hammer back now, rather than the team with it trying to preserve it. But we'll see how it plays out. I'm excited to watch.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And speaking of fun, lovely hit and roll there from Chris Heikert, fully buried behind that corner guard and just inside the red stone for shot. So tricky little pass here coming up for Tyler Tardy. See maybe a sliver of it.
That's a good view of it there from the long shot.
Fantastic weight control. Look at that. Just enough to nudge it out of the rings. That's about as nice as you can throw it.
Great shot by Tardy there. And both last week and this week, we've seen great curl in both directions, but more curl from the inside out than we usually see in tour events, and it's allowed these types of creative shots to actually happen.
So after making a lovely hit and roll, Chris Heikert now swinging over to his in turn, sweeping hard for curl here. They got to navigate through that port. They do. Now they're trying to hold it straight. Almost swept it too well, Dave. Got lots of curl and it over curled.
See, I was correct. It was McEwen versus Gushu. That was at multiple blank ends.
Amazing things seem to happen when big time curling events go to St. John's, Newfoundland. It's just magic seems to happen in that building.
They support their curling.
Well, they certainly do. Especially when there's a favored local son playing in the tournament.
You may have won a tournament or two along the way.
Yes, Team Brad Gushu and company have certainly done Newfoundland and Labrador proud over the years. There's no doubt about that. Stone comes to rest fully behind the center guard. Nearly full 8 foot. You get a good idea how much finish there is late there. Nearly fully buried. Red line 2. Now, they're looking at run back. Are they looking at picking thin double? I'm not entirely sure from the brush placement. Dave, what do you reckon?
Well, this looks like they're just trying to pick it thin and play that little double. Tricky shot for sure.
Oh, yeah. If he is playing the stone front 8, cannot see much more than an eighth of it, I would think. There's a great view. You can just see a corner of it just peeking along the side of the center line there. Well, they're not far away. No, look at this surgical precision.
Oh my, oh my.
Nearly hung around for shot. Take it, Dave.
You see this shot coming on in, and they're going to escort it and just get it just past. Probably could have afforded to stay on a little bit longer. They would have hung around for shot, but fantastic shot. Puts them in front of the tee line, very importantly here, and does move the Cooey Stone behind.
That's an important point. Really opened up the scoring area on that last shot. So even though they're not in shot rock position with last rock, guards up. Let's bring the two back onto the table for Team Laycock. And Saczynski pops it out of there. Rearranges the stones. Pretty close for second shot. They're taking a long look at it. Looks like red from this angle, but it can be deceiving.
I think it might be yellow.
Yep. All right. Well, let's crowdsource this one too. What do you think, folks? Pop it in the chat. Red, yellow, who's second shot?
Certainly going to affect your shot choice here. I don't think that Meacham is convinced, as he's looking to take on the double here.
Well, you got to deal with shot rock for sure. It's just a question about where you want to hit it. And that's what having a feel for what second shot actually is right now influences. Nice control weight. That is going to stuff on that backstone, so there's no doubt about who's second shot now. Kevin Cooey lining him up.
Now you see that Cooey rock still hanging on all the way over in the corner. Be important for the force later.
That's a good point. It is virtually welded on a stone behind it. So it'll be hard to see that stone on the right-hand side of our screen getting removed from the rings. So that could be important for a force. Kevin Cooey making his way. Looking for an inside roll behind the center guard. There is some risk of a jam, yellow to yellow. But I think in his mind that's secondary to how good he can make the roll. When Kevin Cooey's throwing heat, even if it's a nose jam, somehow rocks seem to fly. Spills across into a gap between the guards, so a little bit of an overroll there for Cooey. Does jam the stone in the back. Yellow now second shot, and all of a sudden door opens a little bit here for Team Laycock.
Yeah, Meacham can definitely see this one. It's just a question of which side you want to come to. Do you want to play back towards the center? Or do you want to roll off a little bit to the corner? I think and most people would be inclined to go a little bit more towards the center, but it would force Cooey to make a play to it. The guard is sufficiently high that you might be able to curl around it.
Yeah, that's right. So you got the luxury of either choice here being valid, and as we look at it here from the delivery end, if he can ever get a roll to the left as we look at it behind the yellow corner guard, yes, he does open up the center, but it reduces the chance of an over curl on the inside roll and maybe setting up an ending double for Cooey. So if he rolls to the left, keeps the 2 or the 3 alive, rolls to the center, great shot if he makes it. Doesn't want to over-roll though, because we've all seen what Kevin Cooey can do when you line up 2 or 3 stones. Great opportunity, though, here early in the game. Sean Meacham looking for cover. It's definitely going to roll to the center, but is it going to overroll? That is over curling. He's hit half, and he's going to spill across the top of the pile. So that is the multi-point end gone, unfortunately, for Team Laycock.
So Cailey will be quite content just to kill this yellow team Laycock stone and put the force on.
Yeah, that's a real shame for Sean Meacham and company. You know, when you're playing against a team of Cailey's quality, you might get 1 or 2 chances a game to really arm wrestle yourself into a good position. And you get the feeling that that was one of them. Cailey wasting no time. Sends this one down and will slam that one on the nose.
It goes to the great beyond.
Yep. There are some athletes in our sport that can just vaporize rocks. Kevin, one of those. So it will be a draw against 3. Last stone coming up here in the second end. It'll be Sean Meacham throwing. You're just joining us. Steve Laycock not with the team this weekend, preparing for mixed doubles. So it's Sean Meacham skipping the team and throwing last rocks. Needs full 8 foot. Lots of backing. May need it. Sweeper's not laying a brush to it yet. Slowly comes to rest. Yeah, no problem at all. Right on the pin. Lovely shot from Sean Meacham. Good force, though, for Team Cailey, and they will take the hammer to end number 3, leading it 1-0 here in Swift Current.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like 1 more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution. Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses? Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
And number 3 at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown in Swift Current. Team Kevin Cailey against Team Steve Laycock. Team Laycock with Sean Meacham at the helm in this game. Scoring the 1, making the nice draw against 3, but a good force for Team Cailey. They've got hammer here in the 3rd. Guards are up, game on. Hans Frauenlob here with Dave Schmel. Team Cailey now finally with a chance to go on to attack. What do you think?
Well, you do see the corner guard up, and interesting to see the placement of the guards from Team Laycock. To feel like that stone did not get where they wanted it to, because they just gave Cailey a corner guard, even though it's the wrong color. So definitely a time for, I had expected Cailey to play for like a soft deuce here, but now with the extra rock in play, he might play just a touch harder.
Garrett Martin trying to hide behind that corner.
And when you're coming behind a corner, it's no problem to be a little bit deep. No harm in that, really. Gives you room to put another one in.
That's a good point. You get a good look at how well that buried by sweeping it deep. Fully covered. Will be able to be accessed by Team Laycock, but will be behind the tee line, and with corner guards up, that's a good thing for Team Cailey. They'll have lots of room to work with.
I see Gauthier holding this one here. They're going to pick it.
Good roll. Brings this play back into the center. Three-quarter buried behind that center guard. But being just full 12 foot, Kevin Cailey says, that's still lots of house for me. I'll ignore that one.
Yeah, he's going to play on. He's going to give it a good try here. We have Tyler Tardy, the southpaw.
Yeah, Tyler's such a good touch player. When you got guards up, why would you not have Tyler Tardy try come arounds? Well clear of the guard. This one's going to sit a little bit higher up in the house. Just straddle that tee line. Nice shot. Fully buried.
Yeah, that is buried much better, because getting a little bit over buried there, that dig is really not available now. You draw to it, but you're just giving Cailey more to freeze into. You mentioned Hans Tyler with that touch. Another thing I love about his game is he commits to a shot, he gets in the hack, and he throws it. Doesn't overthink it. He's ready to go, and let's go. Let's make the shot.
Yeah, that's great. He had so much success at junior level as a skip, but when you're playing with Kevin Cailey, even though you've got all that tactical and strategic knowledge in your brain as a young player, very good point, Dave. You can just trust the broom. You know the broom's going to be in the right place. You know the weight that you're going to throw, and you just go and throw it. That stone coming up short and really covering shot rock. So even though we've got two yellow stones in the rings, Cailey now with last rock, that shooter well protected and a good chance to kind of go what one of our old coaches, Bill Shearer, used to call the 1948 draw. Go way outside in, around a corner guard, but outside in.
Oh, more modernly, it's the M&M draw. We're going to take it around the outside.
Around the outside.
Around the outside.
You mentioned Tyler, the left-hander. For a left-hander, do you think this is a more natural shot? I think so, personally. I mean, this is an out turn, and so if you're having to come the wide side and come around a corner guard effectively, for me personally, I think it's an easier shot for the left-hander than the right-hander throwing an in turn in that situation. Good shot from Tyler.
Absolutely. Something I had actually never considered as a right-hander, but when you put it that way, it does make a lot of sense. Because you present that shot to a right-hander, being asked to throw their in turn all the way out there, it can look scary.
You're sliding across the center line as a right-hander, whereas the left-hander, you're coming across the center line more naturally. But regardless, the net result, Team Cailey lying 2 and Jacques Gauthier substituting in this weekend. It was a toughish shot. Good news for Team Laycock. Lots of guards to come around, and here is the chance to trying to bail themselves out at the end with a nice draw themselves. Well brushed, need a piece of the 4, and they get it there. Very nice team shot there from Team Laycock.
Absolutely. They needed a good shot, and they delivered it. And there is no Canada post strike that could have stopped that one.
Fantastic. Good angles. Look on the right-hand side of the overhead. Shot rock fully buried. Angles jamming to the Reds. Don't think there'd be any chance to dig it anyways. So from having really strong control at the end, just with one quality shot, changes the tenor quite considerably, and now Kevin Cooey has to play these front stones, and we're going to be running them back. Aaron Slaczynski spit it out. Trying to run. Oh, lovely. Just catches a piece of it, and that's all he needed. Beauty.
Absolute pinpoint precision there by Slaczynski. Take a look at it again. Comes on down, Tardy holding the line. You stuff it right back, split the uprights, and move your guard over to the center at the same time. Yeah, your rock's exposed, but you're going to have more room to work later.
Yeah, beauty. Great shot. Changes the guard position as well now, so no chance for Gauthier to come around to center guard for shot. So it does change the shot selection for Team Laycock. Having to chase a shot rock now and look for a roll. There's the hit. There's the roll. How far? Just one behind the tee line, fellas. There you go. Okay.
Oh, is that a thing?
I'm involved in the rules committee of World Curling, Dave, and I'll tell you what, there are some topics that are, I wouldn't say there's no such thing as a marginal rule in sport, but few things get curling fans more aggravated than perceived early sweeps on an opponent's stone at the tee line. That, of course, was their own stone, so that wasn't the situation on the previous shot. But yeah, sweeping violations, perceived or real, really do get the viewer's attention. Shot rock removed, pushes into the open, but fully available for Sean Meacham.
Yeah, probably would like to see that flip the other way.
Cooey still lying 2. A fair number of places that Meacham could roll to make the return shot much more difficult for Cooey.
Don't have too much real estate to roll with, because you're going to start behind the tee line here.
It just looks like gentle, hackish plus weight. Ideal weight for the sweepers to control both the line and save the roll as well. Gets that little inside flop, kind of in between. Didn't get cover, but rolled too far to kind of keep a jam alive at the back. It's a good opportunity here for Kevin Cooey. He's got a couple of options here, doesn't he, Dave? I mean, he could short flop behind the center. He could also wide flop around the corner if he chose, but that would leave Sean a potential bailout shot around the center to save the end. So I do get the feeling he's looking for the inside roll to the center. What do you think?
I think so too. I mean, Meacham's going to have a return shot available. It's going to be difficult no matter what, but I think this does leave Meacham the tougher return shot, although I highly doubt Meacham would have chose to draw under and potentially bring a 3 into play.
That one was really tight to that corner guard going by.
There was not much room for imagination there. And did it leave a double?
I was thinking the same thing. I'm not sure if he's got enough
don't
clearance by
think
the center
so.
guard. Yeah. It would be really flat, and he'd have to throw it really hard.
It is very close, though. You can see enough of it if you want to take it on, but probably not worth the risk.
It may not be. Of course, there is that yellow stone in the back ring as well, and if you ever made the go at the heroic double, and then you just flush the red and jam it onto the back and pop into the open, all of a sudden you're bringing 3 onto the table.
Right, so you're going to make this hit and roll, and Cailey most likely is going to play that long run back for 2.
Well, shot's on its way for Sean Meacham. Looking for cover. We saw how close Cooey's stone came to that corner guard on the way by, and this stone likewise. Flirting with it, but well past. Trying for a little outside flop. They get that little outside flop. Quite a bit of distance, though, between the corner guard and the stone in the forefoot. And Aaron quickly taps his brush down, saying, yeah, we got that, Kevin. Yeah, you can see half of it. So in spite of a good outside roll, good opportunity here for Cooey.
Absolutely. Had to roll to the inside there to force a tougher shot. It was going to be the run back all day because the guard's in the way of the draw. So Cooey's going to line this one up here.
Yep. He's taking a fair bit of ice. I would imagine he's just going to be playing down weight. Probably boardish weight that his sweepers can control, and he's got a couple of strong sweepers, in particular Carrick Martin, very strong sweeper. Final stone in number 3 on its way. Kevin Cooey. Opportunity here to score 2. Hardy now sweeping for curl. They're well by that guard. Now they feel like they've got pretty good control of it. Martin just keeping it clean, no problem at all for Kevin Cooey. Hits, sticks, and puts a 2 on the board. Team Cooey with the pair. They lead at 2-1 after 3 here in Swift Current.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Saskatchewan, you know Sasktel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With Sasktel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Sasktel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
Fourth end of play here in Swift Current. We are at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. Glad you are with us on Curling Stadium, and it is a fantastic, fantastic event. Super strong field. Men's event, women's event happening concurrently. Hans Frauenlob here with Dave Schmel. Dave, this is it's a mega event, as far as a size of event, size of field, length of the competition, starting on Thursday, going through to Tuesday. This is a big deal. Shake of the head there. And Martin. Kevin Cooey picking up the 2 in the third end. It was really well worked. Team Laycock with the hammer here in 4. Just joining us, Steve Laycock not playing with the team this weekend, preparing for mixed doubles trials play. So it's Sean Meacham skipping the team this weekend. They're playing the Yellowstones. They've got hammer here in 4. Tyler Tardy lines it up. Things lining up pretty well here early in the 4th for Team Cooey. Got one buried behind a center guard, and now Tardy looks like he's going to loop another one in there. Or is it just going to sit it high? I can see Kevin's brush up at the mid-tight guard position. So this could just be a straight guard. Big sweep for curl from Sluchinski. That one did not take the flight path that Kevin Cooey was looking for, that is for certain. Leaves a channel for Team Laycock. Now the free guard zone part of the end is over. 5 rocks have been delivered. So it looks to me like Chris Heichert is being asked to run one of those front stones in. Nose red could kill both. Nose is red but blows it by. Shot rock survives. There are now 3 yellow guards sitting menacingly in front of the house. Kevin Cooey understands that very well indeed. Quick risk-reward calculation in his brain, saying, yeah, they can run them in. I can't guard them all. First shot. Stones are up in the center. Let's get another one in there. Tyler Tardy was a little bit wide on his last one. Let's see if he can make the adjustment this time. Much better looking line on this delivery from Tardy. Carrick Martin watching it closely. And that one comes to rest. Really almost over curls. There is a path to the shot rock on the draw at least. But Team Cooey line 2, Team Laycock with last rock.
And Meacham looking to bail out here and start the run backs.
Blew by on the run in the first. Jam shotted on the run this time, but does remove one of the Cooey counters and rearranges those stones in the front ring a little bit. Will at least force a change of turn, if nothing else. Sluchinski waiting for instructions. I think Kevin for a moment was considering bringing it into the rings, but now is thinking, no, let's just see if we can't guard it and overlap it. Force would be a pretty darned good result in this situation, wouldn't it, Dave?
That was certainly would, Hans. I would be inclined maybe to come through and maybe be top 12, if not all the way in. But this is definitely going to help you with the force attempt as well. Now, this might very well be top 12. So rushers don't want any part of it.
I'll try to finish this one as much as they can, get a little bit of a redirect and at least improve the guard. And just that little late feather might have done that. There is still the smallest of holes, and Meacham's lining it up. I remember playing in the World Championships in 1999 and against Jeff Stoughton, and he left him a hole like that, and he zipped it right through. So sometimes little ports become escape hatches, and it looks like Gauthier is being asked to thread that needle.
Nick Connolly did a similar port against me. He still says it's the best shot he's made in his life.
This one has got just a slightly more than the rock width to navigate, and Gauthier makes it look easy. Absolutely tremendous shot.
You got this, bro. No problem. You look at this, and it is hanging out there for the longest time. And now just over there, just try to work it over. Get it to just clear it, and you know you have it here. Now let's let it go. Come right on up. Surgical precision.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic shooting. So Cooey paying the price a little bit from playing a guard rather than bringing a stone into the rings, and Jacques Gauthier with a smile a mile wide. I'd be smiling too after a shot like that. That was a pistol. Try and follow the leader here through the same port. These guys are making it easy. These guys are good.
Oh, yes, indeed. This
Well,
one merits a look.
Yeah, anything you can do, I can do better.
Right through there. No problem. Aaron Sluchinski. Woo!
Quality, quality, quality all the way here in Swift Current. That is great shooting from both teams. 3 times a charm.
Oh!
Oh, this is beautiful. This is like a game of horse, you know, between 2 quality shooters. It's like, yeah, okay, here's my trick shot. Okay, you try to make that shot. Okay, I made it. Okay, now you try to make it. Okay. Great, great shooting.
Unbelievable. Back to back to back. Reminds me of those old advertisements where you had Michael Jordan and Larry Bird saying, off the wall, off his head, off the sideboard, off the trash can, nothing but net.
Nothing but net. Exactly. And that stone is creeping further and further forward on the exchange of rocks. That stone started around the button and now nose, and all of a sudden it's in the middle of the 8-foot. And so the debate, I think, is, well, yeah, I could thread the needle again, but does it do anything for us? They are going to try attempt number 4 through this narrow port.
So, Hans, are you alive for the superfecta here?
Well, you know what? I mean, gosh almighty, you know, look at the guy who's about to throw it, right? How many have we seen him make unbelievable shots over the years? No such thing as a gimme, and now he's looking at the run. He's saying, yeah, we could get through the port, no problem, but if I go nose through the port, he's probably just going to come around the pile. So does it actually do us any good to come through the port and make the hit? I mean, it sounds obvious, right? You're removing shot rock. It must be a good shot, but in the mind of Kevin Cooey, probably not good enough. He says if we run the red, slam it into the yellow, we can probably hide behind cover and maybe improve our chances of a force. Boy, oh boy, what amazing calculations these athletes make when they're making their shot choices. Kevin Cooey running the red. And again, just making it look easy. 4 consecutive absolute heaters on this sheet of ice here in Swift Current, Dave.
Absolutely. You see this one come on down. And then Kark leans into it, tries to grind it over just a touch. If anything, maybe it went just a hair too far, but my goodness, like you said, Hans, the boys are here to play today.
Great shooting. Did not leave himself fully covered, but I don't think there's any chance for Meacham to sneak an inside roll off that stone just delivered by Cooey. So he'll ignore that and instead try to draw around the pile.
Now doing this, you want to be careful on your depth here because that stone that Cooey just delivered can access a good deal of the 4-foot, so.
That's a very good point. Distance and depth will be just as important as line on this shot for Sean Meacham. Job 1, make it through the port. This port's wider this time, no problem there. Now it's the weight. This one looks a little bit warm. Gonna slide deep. And it is gonna slide, well, just gonna cling on the back ring. No, it's actually through the rings entirely. My goodness. A gift for Team Cooey. Disappointment for Team Laycock.
Yeah, just an unforced error there. So Cooey has an opportunity to certainly cement the force here. Meacham's always going to have the 8-foot someplace to get in for one. They could try to, no harm in trying to draw in really tight now. Make it as good as he can.
Well, this is one of these situations. I was really intrigued by the brush position from Aaron and Kevin when they were calling the shot, because for rec league curlers, you'd think, okay, well, the obvious thing here, you've got a great stack of guards. You just head for the 4-foot. You got a pile to hide behind. But Kevin Cooey realizes you don't really need to do that. If you sit yourself a third buried top 8, what does he do to score? It's probably easier to steal that way. You cut away the path to the button and you make it a very difficult shot in return. Whereas if you go right around the pile, go to the tee line, your opponent just follows it down, scores 1. So the curling mind of Kevin Cooey and this entire team is always quite special. Delivery on its way. So job 1, lock in the force, but he can get a 2-for-1 deal here. He can set up the force and the steal.
Oh, we get that little kiss.
Oh, just feathers. Uncharacteristic execution mistake from Kevin Cooey. Does get a bit of a bonus by flopping behind the guard, so you could see it from the body expression of Meacham. Gonna have to take here.
Yeah, he's desperately trying to draw a blank up. It's there, but it's tough. You'd have to run that yellow stone right on the D of Delta. On the other red, slash him off with enough momentum to that your raised rock is still going to clear the rings. Technically possible. Feasible? Probably not.
Advisable? No.
No, definitely, certainly not advisable. You got to take your one here all day and tip your cap and move on.
So in spite of the feather and the little bit of the miscue on the execution from Kevin Cooey, got the primary job done, which is to generate the force. So last rock on its way. For Sean Meacham, needs full 8 to tie this game up. Sweepers on this one right out of hand. They seem a bit more relaxed about it. Stones make their move late down this path, but move it does. Brush in the air. Sweepers like it. And comes to the tee line to make a half-hearted attempt to sweep it, but it's going to come to rest in the back of the 4-foot. Single point for Team Laycock. Sean Meacham drawing the 4 on his last against 2. And that ties us up at 2 here in Swift Current after 4.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution. Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses? Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmel Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like 1 more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Fifth end action here in Swift Current. It is the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. And this is quite a showdown. Late in the evening, final draw of the day. Much more curling to come for you for the entire weekend and beyond here in Swift Current. I'm Hans Frauenlob with Dave Schmel, Kevin Cooey, Steve Laycock. Deadlocked at 2. Team Cooey with the hammer here in the 5th. This is a bit of a tasty battle here today.
Oh, it certainly is. You have these two good teams tied up at 2 halfway through. And I'd expect to see Cailey take at least a small attempt towards blanking this end and carrying the hammer into 6. But certainly going to take 2 or more if it presents itself.
2 center guards stacked. 1 stone in the rings. Good sweep for Curl to get contact and stick around. Nicely done by Aaron. And the game is on. Center guards are up. And Sean Meacham wants to use them. Looking for the big roll.
Absolutely no harm in trying to get into it here. If you're Meacham, you'd love to force Cooey here.
Well, they've gotten across nose, but not enough to get that big roll. Chris Heikert leaves it just off the 4-foot. Kevin Cooey contemplating his next move. Looked to me like for a brief moment, he was thinking about ignoring and just coming around the guards, but thinking better of it. Looks like Tyler Tardy is going to be asked to try that same hit and roll. Good crowd on hand here in Swift Current. They love their curling in Saskatchewan and they support all the athletes.
Yeah, they have bleachers set up on one of the sheets. Would be sheet 1.
Lovely little inside roll, hides half. Interesting call coming up here. Sean Meacham. I think I don't really want to push this one out of the rings. I'm happy just to kind of nudge it back. He's playing with fire a little bit here, Dave, do you think?
Yeah, you make this incorrectly, and you're on the verge of doing that.
Plenty of weight, so no problem. He's going to push that stone out of the rings. No danger there. Nice shot.
Yeah, good thing that they cleared it for sure. Now, I see Cooey. He's going to leave his foot on the gas here. He likes that stagger up front.
Yeah, that stone rolling to the tee line and almost to the edge of the 8-foot. So Kevin says, that's enough room for me, thanks. We can go top 8, get shot, get hidden. Tyler Tardy. And so is often the case. Only the attack weapon here at the second stone position. Well clear of the guards. Probably a little deeper than they would have liked, but they do get full cover. And Meacham says, here's our chance for a force, guys. Weld it. Jacques Gauthier.
Well, we've seen Gauthier. Yeah, we've seen Gauthier make a few pistols.
Sure have. And some come arounds, zip it through some tight ports, and now being asked to make a very delicate freeze. Fractionally over curling. Good weight. Certainly cut down the scoring area considerably. No hesitation from Kevin Cooey. Corner freeze, please. Just that little gap that Jacques left. Rock and a half wide. That's enough for Kevin Cooey to say, if we get a corner up here, corner freeze this thing, we can pop it out, maybe get 2 or 3.
Yeah, it doesn't take much when the people are playing this well. Let's face it, these guys are good.
These guys are good. Big brush. Have they got it there? Well, now they're on and off. And look at that. Look at that. Corner freeze ordered up. Corner freeze delivered. Beauty. Perfect.
Well done indeed. It's like you just walked it down and placed it where you want it to be.
We don't know how the end is going to finish up, but if you're a young curler or keen on strategy in this sport, this is how you dial up a multiple point end, everybody. Shots like that. That corner freeze, red to yellow, will go past the shot rock. Sitting right in control of the button area. So if your opponent makes a play at it, they're taking on a pile of risk. Great shooting. Gauthier. What can he produce in return? Equation shifting a little bit now. Now you're shifting your mindset from setting up for the force to how do we prevent a 2 or a 3? Blocking it up and getting the overlap, taking away the path. to that red-yellow promotion.
Yeah, because that was always going to be Kevin's way in to play that red onto the yellow. And that was going to be his last shot to score 3 in his mind's eye. He's still going to try to find a way to get back to that.
Well, now because of those stones in the 4-foot area being angled and set up really, really well for Kevin, he's saying, I'm quite happy now to lose the protection of the front stones. Let's rip 1, let's rip 2. Maybe get some action on those stones in the rings. There they go. Just blows it by the shoulder on the top of the 4-foot and leaves the yellow stone guarding on the center line. So a sigh of relief for Sean Meacham. Red still lying 1. And now, if you are Team Meacham, you're thinking, this is Kevin Cooey on the other side of the ledger here. You still got to be worried about pinball shots. And we still need to defend really strong.
Now, I like this call here from Meacham. If I saw the references right, he's going to play off his own onto the Cooey stone and lie 2. And you set it up right, the stagger should be pretty good for you. It's going to force Cooey's hand into blowing it up more.
Yeah, interesting call. I mean, the draw to the pin is available, but deciding that this is actually an easier way to get there, and you're eliminating a jump shot in the process. Big weight, but this one's over curling. He's going to catch it thin, blow by everything. So it does take the launch pad away from Kevin Cooey. But Cooey's still lying 1. And with last rock, 2 to come. Yeah, now the calculations are much better for Kevin, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Plenty of things that he can do right now. He can just directly play onto that red that's off the 12-foot now and lie 3 right off the jump. But I have a feeling he's going to cook up something a little bit more special here. Wants to, a little bit of distance in there. We get a nice view here.
I'm just reading Kevin's body language, and so you're right. You could go red, red now, but you go red, red. You're coming in from an angle. You're going across the top, and you're maybe leaving a double or a triple in return. He's saying, what if we just blow up the 2 center guards? What does he do? So I think there was some of that discussion. The discussion is still going on. And if you ever did remove the 2 center guards and just left that there for Sean to play in return, it would be interesting in terms of what the return shot would actually be in that circumstance. Probably just conceding 2.
Yeah, you'd probably rifle at the 2 on the top. Maybe try to pray for a drag effect, which isn't going to be there.
Now Cooey's brush into a position saying, well, if we leave a setup shot here, what does that do for us? Takes away the path to the button and maybe keeps 3 alive with a raise on my last.
It's like inside the mind of Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh man, there are calculations aplenty going on out there and a lot of curling IQ on that sheet to contribute to it. Aaron Slaczynski, of course, won the province of Alberta as a skip. So don't sleep on Aaron's curling brain either. They are a very inventive group out there. So judging by that brush position, it feels to me like, Dave, they are thinking about leaving something front 8 and almost a setup shot for his last, so cut off the path to the button, but also leave it in a place where you keep that red run alive for the last one.
Yeah, absolutely, because even if you didn't throw anything right now, there's nothing that's really good for Meacham to throw at. So, save a perfect draw, and even that can be countermanded. So this is saying I want to score a lot right now.
It's kind of a 2-for-1. The get out of jail card, really tough shot, is a draw to the pin right now for Meacham. He's trying to take that path away, but in so doing, also keep a 3 or a 4 alive in the process.
This one probably just a touch shorter than they wanted, but that wick is going to help.
Yeah, the wick definitely helped. Makes getting to the pin almost unfathomable, but you don't need the pin. You need, well, half your rock in the button area. Problem is, you throw it into that spot, Kevin can still make run blasts. All about the angles here. The momentum in this end has shifted about 4 times by my count, Dave, in terms of it was looking like Kevin was brewing a 3, and then it was looking like there was going to be a good chance for a force. Jacques, tiny bit heavy with his freeze, created a little gap. It's gone back and forth. And now Meacham with a chance to maybe get out of the end, but boy, oh boy, you could gamble trying to lock one in there and make the force more certain. Then all of a sudden Kevin throws a rocket and rocks are flying everywhere and he's hanging a 3 or a 4 on the board. So anything could happen from here.
Yeah, and it looks like Meacham is gonna try to throw the draw. It's certainly there. It's gonna look terrible from where he's standing.
You just have to trust that once you're past that front stone, that it's going to curl another 2 rocks at least by the time it gets into the button area. So I do think he can get the stone into the button area. The problem is, you get it there. Are you still leaving Kevin some kind of a Hail Mary shot to get a pile?
Hans, I feel like he always has a Hail Mary shot available.
Well, that's true. Exactly. Yeah, how do you defense Kevin Cooey? Well, you can't really. Not when there's rocks in play. One of the great curling cliches that I'm fond of is sometimes the best guard in the world is second shot. Well, he can't get second shot here, but he is wanting to get second and third shot at least and maybe get shot in the process. Well clear of the guard. Sweeping for curl now. They need it to move quite a lot to get into that button area. And is it going to be a fraction heavy? Yes, it will. It's going to slide to the back of the 4-foot into 4th shot position. So, Kevin Cooey. Last rock coming up in the 5th, and fasten your seatbelts. Well,
is
a little bit surprised. A little bit surprised to see Kevin saying, yeah, I'm happy for the 2. I can just draw it there. And that's absolutely true. He's got 1 now.
Well, I think it came back far enough. And now he's concerned about a jam on it because...
As I look at it, Dave, that's it. So you play the red now, and you don't get 3. So you only get 1. Because that stone in the back 4, you pointed that out, it would be out counting the raised stone.
And the only other shot would be to run that very wide corner guard in. The angle's there, but dear Lord, I don't want to throw that.
No, I don't think so either. So we believe this is a straight out draw for a piece of the button for Kevin Cooey. Gonna come down that same path that Sean Meacham just threw, but would like it to be about 2 feet lighter than Sean's rock. Last stone, 5th end, Kevin Cooey, lying 1, making a very difficult draw to try and score 2. Well, the sweepers say, nope, not today. Kick it away. My goodness, I don't know if that picked, but bottom line, the most entertaining of forces for Team Laycock. A single point for Team Cooey. They take a 3-2 lead as we head for the 6th here in Swift Current.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
And a very warm welcome back to Swift Current at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. Team Steve Laycock versus Team Kevin Cooey. Kevin Cooey forced to a single point in the fifth end, leading it 3-2. Team Laycock with last rock here in the sixth. Hans Frauenlob along with Dave Schmel. Dave, that was a ding-dong fifth end. It went back and forth. It was looking for a minute there that Kevin was going to crack a three. And in the end, hogged his final stone trying to draw for a two. A really unusual end, but Team Laycock now with a great opportunity with the even ends here in sixth to kind of get themselves in front.
Absolutely, Hans. You definitely didn't see that miss coming. Maybe something happened to him. Maybe he picked along the way, but you generally don't see Kevin Cooey miss by 20 feet like that.
No, that's absolutely right. Lead stones here in the sixth end. Center guard up, corner guard up. Come around, stone sliding into the back 8 foot. Team Cooey would love the force here. But just with that missed opportunity for the two, probably the best opportunity of the game here for Team Meacham. Get a pair on the board here. You're feeling pretty good about your chances, well, as good as you can feel against the likes of a Kevin Cooey.
Oh, absolutely. And take a look around the rings at some of our other draws happening right now. It was Brad Jacobs who secured a 6-0 victory over Dustin Kaltoff. That was through 4 ends. That game finished. Played in the fifth end, McEwen with a 2-1 lead over Evan Van Amsterdam. Van Amsterdam has hammer now throwing in the fifth. Daniel Casper from the U.S. holds a 2-1 lead on Kelly Knapp. Casper has the hammer playing in the fifth. And then very close game, Ethan Sampson 6-5 after 4. No shortage of offense there. Sampson with a pair of threes and Purcell with a 3 to deuce himself. That game is in the fifth, and Sampson has the hammer up 1. And that brings us back here where Laycock's trying to get something generated.
Well, we got 3 stones now behind that center guard, all behind the tee line, but they're all staggered and sitting in front of each other. So this doesn't feel like a blank end brewing early in this going. would say that Team Laycock will be thinking very much go big for the pair. Chris Heikert following his shot down the sheet is Jacques Gauthier. Sweeping late for Curl, trying to get to nose as much as he can. Gets a little nudge, repositions those stones. A bit of a pocket now building at the back of the forefoot.
Yeah, everything living behind the tee line, and as a friend taught me long ago, once they get behind the tee line, they never get closer.
Never get better. Absolutely right. But they can be a pretty nesty, pretty handy, cozy nest for other stones to sit in front of, that's for sure. Tyler Tardy looking for the front forefoot behind this center guard. Very nicely done. Tyler's had a nice game.
Yeah, he's been playing well of late. Seems to have found a happy home in that second position.
It is interesting when teams make small adjustments to their lineup and playing order or whatever, and then somebody's playing in a different position and something just clicks sometimes.
Yeah, earlier in this season when Tardy was throwing third rocks, or when they were playing with three, throwing the middle three rocks, just didn't seem quite as dialed in, throwing more of the hard ones. And at second, now with the 5 rock rule, it's much more of a touch position. It really seems better suited to his skill set. Not saying that he can't throw the high hard one with the best of them, but he just looks more comfortable this week.
Hager trying to play follow the leader. He's going to get a piece, push it back. And he leaves the red rock sitting in shot position, but at the back of the button. More importantly for Team Laycock, leaving their own stone controlling the front of the button. So Kevin Cooey will have to deal with that stone.
Yeah, he
saw
certainly
the corner freeze in the previous end, didn't we, Dave?
We did. We did for sure.
Aaron Sluchinski this time given the task of the corner freeze.
Interesting dynamic on this Cooey squad. You have 3 of the 4 players that are used to doing a lot of skipping.
Aaron had a very fine run at skip in Alberta Provincials, defeating Kevin Cooey. Lovely little tap. Corner freeze there, pushes the Yellowstone forward as well. I wonder if he nudged it into shot position. Probably not quite, but pretty good shot. And he's just put threats on either side of that Yellowstone.
Yeah, if we were playing chess right now, we would definitely say check.
Yeah, indeed. Jacques Gauthier trying to knock the pieces around the chessboard a little bit here. Rickert and Grinheim on the brushes. I'm going to bring this one up. It's going to nudge that front red, so the pile at the front of the button and the front of the forefoot continues. That's center guard. Thrown at the beginning of the end. Look at all the stones clustered behind it now. Probably 7 of them hidden in one way or another. 6 anyways, behind that center guard.
Yeah, it's quite a few. Nobody told us that we're calling a mixed doubles game today.
Exactly that. There is a pile.
So taking a page out of that strategy, it's all about tapping it just a touch and moving those angles around. So you see Cailey indicating in front of that yellow stone there. That's certainly an option that will remove that as a threat, or at least if Meacham wants to use it, cause him to improve it. Also could have come down to the other side. I might have went there myself, but a lot of good options here. You're thinking several moves ahead, though.
Yeah, this shot choice for me, Dave, says that Kevin Cooey's looked at the rock positions and says, this is actually kind of good enough for a force right now. If we get a good guard in a good place, it's going to be awfully tough for my opponent to score 2. Meacham, on the other hand, trying to keep the 2 and multiples alive. You can see a corner just. We can see on the left-hand side of the screen from the hack delivery end. That stone, yellow stone, just short of the 4-foot. Maybe a sliver of it available.
And that might be all it takes, Hans, because if you can catch that, you get that really tight view, you can get a good look at it.
Sliver it, nudge off the red, gear forward a little bit.
Yeah, you'll gear forward, and you'll also move that yellow up into shot position and possibly lie 2 after this.
Saw Jacques with his brush saying, yeah, I'm going to try to throw it hard enough where the stone that I deliver is going to wind up somewhere on the tee line. So that says to me, Jacques is probably thinking about, yeah, maybe backline weight, maybe back 8-foot weight. Can't throw a screamer here if he's looking to graze that yellow. He's going to have to come close to that center guard. Here it comes. Very much a setup shot here. Grinheim sweeping hard for curl. Don't have contact yet. We've still got air. Is it going to make a move? No, it will not. Comes to the back, clips and rearranges the stones at the back 4-foot. But importantly for Team Cooey, does not reposition the stones in front of the 4-foot. The chess match continues, Dave.
It certainly does, and it does still appear to be Cooey in shot position. I do think red is shot at the moment. Very close. They're concerned about the same shot that was just attempted. It's certainly still going to be there.
Tyler seems to think they can get at that stone, the red stone front 4-foot, to get red yellow. I'm not sure how.
Well, let's see the rest of the chessboard.
Well, there's a good look at it. Can't really do it by running center. You can just see a corner of the red. So if you were thinking about playing red-yellow, you'd really have to shave that center guard. And boy, you sure wouldn't want to clip it going by, because that could open things up and give Sean Meacham some options that he doesn't have right now. But they are lining it up. Or this is Kevin Cooey after all. Is he thinking about picking out the yellow?
Oh.
I wonder if he's not thinking, I can see just enough of that yellow shot rock. We think it's shot rock. I can just hum one down here and pick it out. My goodness.
I agree, and circle gets a square.
Well, buckle up, folks. None other than the legend, Kevin Cooey. Trying to Cooey's Team Laycock. Here it comes. We think he's trying to pick the yellow. And he makes it look absolutely easy. Kevin Cooey moves that stone. You could only see a sliver. Dave, well, what can you say about this guy?
Well, Hans, I can say that's absolutely amazing. Like you said, he only had the slightest of margins to hit it. He just pushed it over, just inched it over and inched it through. And now there you are, you're line 3.
Yes, you've been cooeyed yet again. Kevin Cooey, what a great shot. Not out of the woods yet, still 2 to come for Sean Meacham, but all of a sudden now the task of getting 2 from here, much more challenging.
And you see they're looking at that stone that just got poked through. You are going to use that to get in there.
Yep, that's definitely a way into the button area now. A bit surprised. It's not desperation time by any means. Hasn't even looked at the angle run on the stone on the left-hand side of the sheet.
That'd be your list.
Yep, that could be the escape shoot. But if you ever wanted to rearrange a bunch of reds, that would be a way to do it. But it's electing instead, using his own stone as a launch pad, hit and roll off his own, looking to go flat into the button area. Probably doesn't mind even hitting the red stone in the back of the button area sideways. Doesn't need to sit in front of it, can push it aside. Here it comes. There's the hit, there's the sideways push, nice shot. Meacham line 1-3 all of a sudden. Nice shooting.
Yeah, well done there. Probably would like to have come up a little bit higher towards the button, because Cooey can definitely get to his own with a downweight shot now and raise it up, and then you might see Meacham looking at that long raise.
Well, I think that's a mighty fine shot from Meacham, to be honest, because Kevin comes down here. Even if he taps red, if he ever comes a little bit full and makes it a little bit thin, he could leave Meacham a shot, certainly a shot for 2. And yeah, hard to see 3, but certainly a shot for 2. Leave him a double takeout.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. No, it's great, but when we see the teams trading shots like this, you have to look at any little imperfection as a crack here.
Yeah, lots of rocks in play. Can't take everything away if you're Kevin Cooey. So I think foremost in his mind, he'll still be thinking a force is a great result for us. What can we do to make sure that we're making him take 1 and only 1? Shot's on its way. Saw him come up light on a draw. See if we can make the adjustment here. Carrick Martin on it immediately. This is going to flirt with that center guard, and he's going to graze it. So the struggles continue on draws for Kevin Cooey. And I think he might have gotten certainly deep enough to not worry about the double takeout, but become so deep that it's actually just hit an inside roll for 2 here. They're saying, is there anything here that could give us more than that?
I'm looking. I don't see anything yet, Hans.
Yeah, me either. Nothing that doesn't run the risk of giving yourself the dreaded self-inflicted force. Two's a mighty good result for Meacham here. So we believe the shot is a hit and inside roll off the stone on the edge of the 4-foot circle. Final shot on its way. Sean Meacham trying to wrestle his way in front late in the game here against Kevin Cooey. It's close. They're on, they're off, they're on, they're off. They're hit, they're getting the inside roll. Is going to stick around. No, it rolls across the top.
Oh, I think it might still be good.
Did it spin back? No, they're kicking him off. We got brushes in the air. We'll just wait for the, well, I saw one of the players saying 2.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw him say good shot, so I would imagine it's a 2.
Okay, well, we'll get the confirmation after the commercial break, but a very, very fine end for Team Laycock as we head for the 7th end in Swift Current.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution. Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses? Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
We are in the 7th end at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown in Swift Current. Hans Frauenlob along with Dave Schmel, and we have got an absolute ripper of a game going. Team Steve Laycock arm wrestling at 2 out of that 6th end to take a 4-3 lead. Cooey with the hammer here in end number 7, and we feel like we're going to be heading down to the wire in this one, Dave.
Oh, absolutely. It's been like that all day, and there's no reason to expect it to change now. Saw a big bevy of good shots up and down the lineup, and trading those hits through the port. I mean, my goodness, what shooting we've been seeing.
Absolutely. Kevin Cooey with the sliver pick.
Oh, I almost forgot. How could I forget?
Yeah, and then Sean Meacham cashing in the 2, which is probably the most important control point that he's had in this match to give them a narrow bit of control. But again, playing Kevin Cooey, you're never comfortable. But I think pre-match, if you would have said playing in 7, kind of one up without, would you be pretty happy in that situation? I think Sean would have said absolutely.
Absolutely. He'd take that every day of the week.
Center guard's up. Stone stacking behind, just as we saw in the 6th. We had a pile behind the center guards in the 6th. Starting to accumulate here. Carrick Martin nudges them around, creates a little bit more room in the scoring area.
Couple score updates. Speaking of scoring, McEwen has stolen 2 on Evan Van Amsterdam. Now has a 4-1 lead playing in the 6th end. Casper and Knapp still waiting for an update from them. But Looks like McEwen has Van Amsterdam in a good spot here. He's got to make a move in the sixth.
Chris Heikert looking to come around the pile. He's going to overcurl those, going to nudge that stone in the front of the 8. For me, that's always a great spot to have a stone. You know, I always used to love having stones kind of full 8 behind center guards because they're just annoying. People try to come around them. You think you got room to come around them. Little overcurl, little nudge, and then all of a sudden you've got control of the end.
Most certainly. And if you're Sean Meacham right here, your goal is just to make somebody score 1. If it's you, great. If it's Kevin Cailey, that's just fine too. But you don't want to let him carry that hammer into the 8th and be able to put you away.
As we look at the right-hand side of the sheet, do we think that stone lower right is biting that 12-foot circle, Dave? I think it might be.
I certainly do think it is. I don't see any white there, and just based on the angle, so that could definitely come into play later.
Tardy comes down for a chat. Kevin Cailey knows that the score that they don't want is 1, so whatever they do, trying to set up for a multiple, he'll also have in the back of his mind, we don't want to put too much danger on ourselves here to create a situation where we're going to get forced. One great way to de-risk the force is to remove both opponents' shots, but that's a really thin, steep double. You wouldn't try that right now. So Tardy looking to eliminate the shot rock and just a little inside flop behind cover. Super, super nice weight control. Great, great brushing from Martin. And look at that roll, Dave. Almost perfectly buried.
Yeah, end up in a beautiful spot. You can't kill them both from the right-hand side as we're looking at it. It's going to go over the top of the one in the back 12, so you wouldn't even have the added bonus of getting rid of the biter. So Meacham's just going to throw a little bit of the down weight here. You might not kill both of these. Just shuffle the deck up here a little bit.
Chris Heikert on his out turn. Gauthier sweeping hard for curl. Got a piece. Does push it over the top of the stone in the back ring. Lined up pretty naturally now for a double if Kevin wanted to throw it. He may not. But it's relatively early in the end. You could make the double here, spill to the wing, lie 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're lined up pretty well for that. Not a lot of harm in taking that on.
No. Although I do think Kevin's preferring to make the double, but catch it brush side as we look at it and look for a little inside roll instead. Go over the top of the stone in the back. Big weight. Blows it by the stone in the back. So a bit of an error there. Clusters the two red stones closer together. Tempting now for Meacham to think, well, could we pop a double here and maybe walk it in there behind cover? You've still got that one really annoying stone and biting the 12-foot.
Yeah, but as long as you go and sit 2, you get underneath that cover. It's not in play for now. You see Gauthier's going to come on down. the substitute for Team Laycock this weekend. Get some of his former mates.
I was just going to say, if you're ever going to have a substitute that's going to know your opponent's game, it's going to be Jacques Gauthier, won't it?
Absolutely.
Adding a little extra zest to what's already a very entertaining contest.
Oh, I'd love to be a fly on the ice. Well, not on the ice. It would probably kill
Yeah, I was
them.
going to say, Ice Tex would not be happy about that, Dave, but yeah, you'd certainly be some intriguing conversation going on between shots, I am sure. Thing is, if you play the double here, there's going to be jams on the back and the one the back eight. If you're playing the stone you can see, if you go pop, pop, high risk that you jam red onto yellow. That's not good. And if you try to go the other way, skinny the front one, catch the stone on the center line front of the 4 foot first, you run the risk of maybe just zipping it right through the hole.
Yeah, you could zip it through the hole, or very strong chance of wrecking on the guard doing that.
And if you ever did wreck on the guard, then you kind of wind up straight back to an old school Ken Watson. Trade hits on the house, and you're probably giving up too.
I don't think there's as much risk to the hit coming from the outside as you do. I think it goes a lot easier than we think.
Well, that's certainly the stone to play. The danger rock for me is that yellow stone in the bag, 8 foot, Dave.
Oh, certainly.
So, yeah. But this is definitely the most accessible rock to make a play at, no doubt about it. So after a long discussion, Gauthier in the hack, making a play, and gonna have to be really precise with his contact point, throwing a lot of weight at this. There is the jam.
There it did hit that, yes indeed.
But I think that was probably the trade-off in their minds, Dave. They said, well, we're going to jam anyway, so hit it hard. Make sure that if we do jam, at least it's going to spill off the rings. And they've hidden the faintest of corners behind that center guard. But now Kevin Cooey can switch the gears a little bit. Can absolutely take this one away from the center if he chooses to.
Oh, he's definitely in let's go score mode now.
Cooey with the hammer here in 7. Content for the slightest of outside rolls. So didn't really want to think about rolling it all the way over to the wing.
It is tight for the double takeout, but I do think it's there.
Yeah, you really have to shave that guard, though, because it's a pretty thin, steepish angle on that double. Could be there, could be makeable.
So alternatively, you see Meacham thinking maybe you play off the one there, top 4, and roll towards the center, but the problem is Cooey has a very makeable angle from there.
Yeah, things are looking pretty dangerous from my perspective now for Sean Meacham, because almost no matter what you make, you're still feeling like 3 is a threat. Gauthier. Much more controlled hit weight this time. Wants to get across nose. Sweeping hard for curl. Gonna just get to nose. And that rock advances another rock width further forward in the rings. Second shot. 5 stones to come in the end. Team Cooey with the hammer. And sitting in a pretty nice position right now. You've still got that center guard out there. But they're lying first and third. We are pretty certain that that stone in the back ring is biting, so we're treating it as a counter at this point. Slachinski. Just hit trading mode here for Team Cooey. Content to nose hit it. Creates a bit of a teaser for Meacham. Thin double angle is there, but it's almost a bit of a sucker play. If you try it, you miss it, and you're almost guaranteed to give up 3.
Your much better shot selection here is to hit and roll the shot and force a more difficult shot in return from your opponent.
Yep, that's very much what he's lining up, Dave. Completely agree. Not being suckered in to think about the thin double. Jacques Gauthier looking for the bonus, though.
I like that he wants to be aware where it is.
Totally right. You can really reduce the danger a lot if you're able to clip that one off the back of the 12-foot going by. Almost more important than the roll. Shot's on its way. This one's really making a move, down weight. It's over curling. Just gonna graze and spill.
Oh.
Just down the weight that much, and it really moved. They couldn't save it, and all of a sudden now the warning lights are flashing red for Team Laycock. Team Cooey with the hammer, lying 3. 2 stones to come.
A warning light's more like an air raid siren.
Absolutely. Clear the building. The only potential savior right now for Sean Meacham is that center guard. But it's a long way off the rings. So even if Kevin Cooey presented him with a chance to use it, you may not be able to hide.
Yeah, we'll see where this ends up and what type of overlaps are available. Right now, your best hiding space, if they didn't even throw, would be to come someplace in the back 8-foot and force a difficult chase.
Yeah, the question I always used to ask myself in this situation would be, what would happen if we threw nothing right now? And, if what we're thinking about is going to make it potentially worse than that, that's probably not a good choice. So as they're kind of going through the options here, they must be thinking about whatever we do, let's not create a shot for Sean that he doesn't have right now. And by that, it could mean making sure that if you're going to miss deep instead of light. So you're thinking about all of these things as you're planning this shot, because right now you're in a fantastic position. If Kevin was ever to throw to the wing here and leave it top 8-ish, you could give Sean a hit and roll to get out of the end. So we think the draw attempt to the wing wants to be at least T-line depth. Kevin Cooey following this down. Came up 20 feet light on a draw earlier in the game. This one isn't heavy. It's just going to be a straight guard. No, they're going to get it to the rings. Are they? Yes. Certainly not where they patted the brush, but they are lying 4.
Well, so there's your get out of jail card. If you want it, you can throw a draw to try to get to where that stagger doesn't work anymore. Or you take your medicine and try to make 3 reds go away, which is probably possible.
Golly, tough though. But yeah, you could throw a hummer at the pair on the left-hand side as we look at it on the overhead and maybe get some action on the stones on the right, but that's a big risk. Everything's a big risk here, though, for Sean Meacham. Doesn't matter what choice he makes. You are looking at game one way or the other. I saw the brush tap there from Chris Heichert. That is not a bad option from my perspective. Coming around center guard, just barely into the 8-foot, maybe even settling in for second shot. What you want to do is take 5 off the table. You're remembering your game position here. Dropping 2, although not great. You're coming into the last end, 1 down with hammer. You're still feeling pretty good. Dropping 3, bad, but not game over. Dropping 4, you're probably losing.
Yeah, well, you can make sure it's only 3 by doubling off the ones on the right. That's the easiest double that's available. Well, the easiest double's on top, but at least would force a shot from your opponent. And they're going to play a draw of some sort here. Questions as to the depth.
To make this usable, I guess there's 2 options here. You throw it where Chris Heichert patted his brush, which is front 8-foot, just barely past the 2 stones on the left-hand side, or you come deep. You come all the way around everything. You come to rest somewhere in the back 4-foot, but you're better covered, and you just accept the risk that Kevin's going to run something back into it. So here it comes. Sean Meacham trying to get this into a position to escape what looks like a terrifying position right now. Job 1, get around the guard. He's around the guard. Job 2, go deep, but not too deep. And that one is going to come to rest front button. So it's a teaser for Kevin Cooey. Is there a port there to get there directly? Possibly. But Kevin's not even looking at that. He's saying, this is a run.
It's a run all
Short
day.
Run.
Yep, run all day for Kevin Cooey, and hopping into this live stream just in time to watch it is Papa Cooey. Hiya, Fred.
Good time to keep an eye on his son, because this is game shot right here. Potential, well, let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, potential 6 shot swing right here. Kevin overcurls, blows it by. Meacham steals. Could be 5-3. Kevin makes, scores 5. Could be 8-4. And a lot of numbers in between. Needs contact. 3/4 ideally. Red onto yellow, looking for a bundle. Kevin Cooey, final shot, end number 7 here in Swift Current. Just cannot go across nose. And they are definitely on the proper side. There it is, bang, bang, bang. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Kevin Cooey. And that will do it. Wow, what a way to end the game. Cooey does it again. Dave, take us through the replay.
You see it, you had Carrick just holding it there, and it made that perfect contact. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All day, all night.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic game. So congratulations to Team Cooey. Sean Meacham, and condolences to Team Laycock. They played really well. They got their nose in front, but that 7th end was building and building and building, and Kevin Cooey puts the exclamation mark on it with the angle run for 5 to take this one by a final score of 8-4. So at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown, that will do it for this one. On behalf of Dave Schmel, I'm Hans Frauenlob. Thank you very much for joining us, and make sure that you join us on Curling Stadium right through the weekend here at the RBC. It is going to be a fantastic weekend of curling. Thank you very much for joining us, and so long from Swift Current.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.